Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today I am going to deliver a lesson for class 12th, subject to zoology. My today's topic is Darwin's Theory of Natural Selection. Now, Charles Robert Darwin was an English naturalist and biologist, best known for his contributions to the science of evolution. His famous books are The Origin of Species, Descent of Man, and Selection in Relation to Sex. Darwin was influenced by a scientist called Malthus, who wrote an essay on population. And he put forward the concept of natural selection as the mechanism of evolution. The main postulates of his theory of natural selection are: number one, the rapid multiplication or overproduction; number second, the limited food and space; number third, the struggle for existence; number fourth, variations; number fifth, survival of the fittest; number sixth, the inheritance of useful variations; and finally, the formation of a new species. Now, let us discuss about these postulates one by one. First of all, the rapid multiplication or overproduction. As you know, the reproductive potential of living organisms is much more than the actual number that survive. For example, paramecium can divide 3 times in 48 hours, and at this rate it can produce 280 million paramecium per month, having a mass of 10,000 times the size of Earth in 5 years. Same is true with the multiplication of bacteria and other organisms, and under favorable conditions. Now, this rapid growth of these organisms lead to the struggle for existence because, as is written in this second postulate, the limited food and space. Now, increase in population requires more food and space, but because of limited resources, survival rate is limited. Malthus states that population increases geometrically and resources increase arithmetically. That is, the population increase is much faster than the increase in the limited resources. Now, because of the limited resources, now there starts the struggle for existence. Because of the limited resources, competition between the individuals start, and every individual makes an effort to meet its basic needs. This competition can be interspecific or intraspecific. So far, the intraspecific competition is concerned, it is the competition between the individuals of the same species. For example, struggle between 2 dogs for a piece of meat. Or another example is the cannibalism. That is, an organism eats individuals of its own species. Now, these are the examples of intraspecific competition. Now, this competition can also be interspecific competition. That is, the competition between individuals of different species. For example, between predator and prey, etc. Now, after this struggle for existence can be environmental also. That is the struggle of organisms with the change in environmental factors as heat, cold, drought, storm, light, earthquakes, etc. Therefore, struggle for existence acts as an effective check in an over-increased population of each species. Still, each organism leaves more offsprings that needed to replace itself. Now, all these things lead to variations, what we call as variations. Variation is the law of nature. No two individuals are similar except identical twins. Due to variations, some individuals would be better adjusted than the others. According to Darwin, variations are continuous, and those which are helpful in adaptations of an organism would be passed on to the next generation, while the others will disappear. Now, after this postulate, we come to the next or fifth postulate, that is the survival of the fittest, or we call it as the natural selection, as Darwin called it natural selection. Now, natural selection is an automatic and self-going process which keeps check on population. The organisms which are provided with favorable variations would survive, that is, they are fit to face the surroundings, while unfits are destroyed. Darwin further states that the discontinuous variations appear suddenly and are mostly harmful, so are not selected by the nature, as it operates only on inherited traits. Now, finally, there is the inheritance of useful variations. Inheritance of useful variations. The naturally selected organisms, after getting fit to the surroundings, transmit their useful variations to the next generation. Now, the last postulate is the formation of new species. Now, the useful variations become more and more prominent and accumulate in an organism in the preceding generations, and after a number of generations, the possessor turns into an entirely new species with different characters. Now, these are the main postulates of the Darwin's theory, but there are certain drawbacks of this theory, which are that the Darwin was not able to explain the cause of discontinuous variations observed by him in nature, and also the mode of transmission of variations to the next generation. Similarly, presence of these vestigial organs. The Darwin was not able to explain the presence of vestigial organs, as these vestigial organs are non-functional or they are not useful to the possessor, and yet they are inherited. Similarly, overgrowth of some organs beyond the stage of usefulness. For example, antlers of deer or tusks of the elephant. There is no room for their selection in Darwinism. Therefore, Darwin himself confessed that natural selection has been the main but not the exclusive means of modification. Now, this is all about the Darwin's theory, its main postulates and the drawbacks concerned with the theory. Now, in our next topic, we will study about the mutation theory. Until then, goodbye and good luck.